Hello and welcome to this week's hashtag productivity. I hope you enjoyed our awesome conversation that we had with the Blue Ninjas last week. I had a ball. It was really long, but those ladies are just fantastic. So I really hope you enjoyed that. It's all about making business strategies impactful in your business and how you actually go from having these big plans and moving into action, because that's what we need to do, right? But today what I want to do is just to reflect to a session that we had 2 weeks ago where we spoke about employee engagement. And it's something, as we noticed 2 weeks ago, employee engagement is something that needs to be managed well in order for us to make sure that it improves the hashtag productivity of your workforce. But the problem with engagement is that often it starts out from the get-go. Right, from as soon as your employee joins the business, as soon as you have that moment, it can have an impact on the employee engagement levels. So if they haven't been onboarded properly, or if the onboarding process is too short, it's only a day or a week maybe. A lot of places are lucky to have a week, but it doesn't look any further than that. It means that the potential for long-term engagement actually is forgotten, and it just is not as effective as it should be. So today what I want to do is to talk about this whole concept of onboarding processes. Because not only does it affect engagement, it also affects retention as well as the productivity in your business and of your workforce. So it's definitely a good topic for hashtag productivity, right? So I want to ask you, do you have an onboarding process? If you do, what does it look like? And if you don't, why should you have one? So just a few things that I want to look at today. So firstly, 2 quick statistics, because stats always help to convince certain types of people. People like me, that's all about numbers. So firstly, effective onboarding results in 33% more employees feeling engaged in the workplace as opposed to businesses that do not have an effective onboarding process. Okay, so that's a third. Okay, and then where employees felt that onboarding was highly effective, they were 18 times more likely to feel committed and loyal to the business than those that did not feel like it was highly effective. That is significant. There are scary statistics about how many people actually drop out within the first 3 months of being with an employer, and we can really help to overhaul those statistics if we just had good, solid onboarding processes in place. So there are a few other statistics that are available, and I will share a link in the comments below that you can go check out, and hopefully it will convince you to make sure that you have some good onboarding processes in place. So basically, there are 7 phases as part of your onboarding process that you need to address. And each of these come with specific considerations, best practices, some checklists that you maybe need to have in place, and even having a specific reference to remote working and what those onboarding processes would look like. I'm not going to discuss that today, but I will share an article that you can go check out, and maybe that's a topic for another day where you can just chat around the whole process of onboarding when you're working remotely, because it just makes life so much harder, right? So today what I just want to briefly mention is those 7 phases or 7 steps that you can follow or that you need to consider as you are onboarding your employees. So step number 1, new employee recruitment. This is where it all starts. It does not start the first day when they actually rock up at your business. No, it starts from the first moment that they might start interacting with your business. So make sure that every single touch point that they have with your business is clear, it's accurate, it is aligned with your company's mission, its vision, as well as its values. So the whole message needs to be consistent from the starting point to the end point. That's firstly. Step number 2 is the first office visit. Now, this might be before or after the interview has taken place, but normally during this time, we make sure that there is a bit of a tour. They can get a feel for what the workplace looks like. They can get a feel for what their workstation looks like. Make sure you show them the kitchen, the bathrooms, and even areas that they will frequent often, such as parking lots, and just so that they know where to find everything. Really, really important. Then number 3, sending the offer letter. How often do we actually not send an offer letter? Especially if you're a small business, you might just start straight away giving the person their employment contract. But that offer letter is such an awesome opportunity for you to express your excitement about them coming on board and joining your business. So as part of the congratulations, and we are so excited to have you here, we must make sure that we outline their top level roles and responsibilities. Then step number 4, we start looking at early onboarding for the new employees. So this process normally starts from the moment that they sign up or they sign their offer letter for the first time up until when they actually start working. Now, this 1 to 3 week process potentially, or time gap between when they actually sign and when they start, can be really crucial in ensuring that your employee starts to feel as if they're part of the business already at that point. So it could include making sure that you're sharing their itinerary for the first week, or sharing login details for task management platforms, or potentially even emails. Okay, all of those things. Start getting the admin processes in place so they're clear about what to expect when they join up. Then step number 5, you start welcoming your new hires on day number 1. And it's so exciting. It's supposed to be an exciting moment. And just to make sure that they feel like they are feeling welcome and they know exactly what is expected of them, specifically on that first day and potentially during that first week even, make sure that you are scheduling debrief sessions. So first half an hour and last half an hour of the day. Make sure that they know what is expected of them during that day, and just reflect as to how they experienced the day, and even look at scheduling some virtual lunch sessions potentially with other people in the team, especially their immediate team members, so they can just have an informal way of getting to know their teammates. Okay, you might even want to consider giving them some company swag items, so something that's been branded, a cap, a top, whatever, stationery, doesn't matter, something so that they can start feeling like they are brand loyal. Okay, then step number 6. This is now in the first few weeks, as we start orientating them and onboarding them, we want to make sure that we are sending out an announcement welcoming this new hire to the business. We must also make sure we schedule some meet and greet sessions with either their direct team members and or the rest of the leadership, so that they start getting an idea of what the culture is like and start feeling welcome and know who everyone is in, who's who in the zoo. And then make sure you're establishing a weekly routine with them so that they know what their regular tasks are, and set out their goals and the KPIs so they know clearly what is the expectation. Then step number 7, most people will stop at that point. Step number 6, maybe after a week, they'll just be like, cool, hands off, this employee is now part of the furniture. But actually it needs to go beyond that. It needs to be looking at a month to 2 to 3 months. Some onboarding processes even go up to 12 months or even 18 months, which might sound really long, but the chances of someone staying on with your business, if you make sure that they are onboarded properly and that they feel engaged and that their opinion matters, chances of them sticking around for longer is so much greater. So once the official onboarding process is over, make sure that you do regular check-ins on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and find out how they feel, how they're experiencing this new process, this new business, what resources do they need, what support do they need, and even consider looking at random pairing between this new employee and other people within the business. Let them go for lunch or a virtual coffee, whatever, so they can feel like they're getting to know the rest of the office as well. So those are basically the 7 phases that you need to look at. Some virtual team building, some in-person team building, all of those things can contribute significantly to making sure that the employee feels properly onboarded. Okay, so that is a whole mouthful. There's so much more to it. So I really want to encourage you to go check out the article that I'll be linking through. And I just want to leave you with 3 main tips. Tips and tricks, if you want to look at it that way, for onboarding new employees. So firstly, make sure that you've carefully documented your processes so you can define and enhance every aspect of your company's onboarding program. You want to make sure that there's a consistent experience across the board for any new hires coming on board, and you want to make sure you haven't missed out anything. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one, make the experience personal. Make sure that you're listening carefully, remember key details, and be perfectly honest throughout the entire process, and encourage the employee to also be open and honest about their experience. And then thirdly, to help new remote employees, because as I said, that can be a problem, to help them to understand your company culture, share everything you can possibly think of. Your employee handbook, past presentations, company value literature, photos and videos featuring bosses, maybe previous new employees that have gone through the onboarding process, virtual team members. There's so much that we can do to make sure that they feel onboarded and happy to be there. So if you're able to have a good process in place, the likelihood of having happy employees is so much greater, which means increased #productivity, right? So definitely something that I want to encourage you to check out. And I'd love to know more about what onboarding processes you follow, if you have any, and maybe maybe you don't have any and we need to just chat through this process. Make sure that you book your meeting with me and we can have a chat. Okay, so until next week, I will see you then. Bye.